So, a rising wave of insecurity that's become so alarming, it's prompted action from at least one group within the Senate. The minority caucus in the Senate has issued a damning ultimatum to President Buhari: address the deteriorating security situation in Nigeria within 6 weeks or face impeachment. The ultimatum came from the Senate Minority Leader Philip Aduda, who's led a walkout of senators from the main opposition People's Democratic Party, or PDP, saying that the country is in serious trouble.
Primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property of citizens.
Obviously.
And for us, the minority caucus in the Senate, we also took into cognizance the fact that the Senate had at various levels, at various times, convened various security meetings, various security issues were discussed, and we did recommend to government various steps and measures aimed at curbing these issues of insecurity. We realized that even Abuja that we are in is no more safe, and all of you will agree with us. And so at the closed session we agreed that we will give the president an ultimatum. Well, we have given 2 months notice within which 6 weeks. Within 6 weeks precisely, within which these security issues should really be resolved, even if it is, yes, all our resolutions should also be implemented.
Philip Aduda, more on that in a moment. But let's also mark the fact that this growing insecurity is taking place as public university lecturers have for the past 5.5 months shut down their universities in disagreement with the government over pay and conditions. And the Nigeria Labour Congress, which represents millions of workers, has been protesting in solidarity with them, warning that it would begin a 3-day strike after the protests if the government failed to reach agreement with the lecturers. Well, my first guest has been out on the streets protesting with them. He is Senator Shehu Sani, a former high-ranking member of the National Assembly and a prominent advocate for good governance in Nigeria. And he joins me now in the studio. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. A long day for you, because you were out there marching, weren't you?
Yes, of course. We're there to solidarize with the lecturers and Nigerian students who have been on strike for the last 5 months. It is an action by the Nigerian Labour Congress to send a clear message to the government that you either sit down, negotiate, and accede to the demands of lecturers, or we will embark on a national strike, 3 days national strike.
Right. I'm going to come to that in a minute, because that will also form the substance of this discussion with you. But let me start with the issue of insecurity and what happened in the National Assembly today. How much does this notice of possible impeachment proceedings reflect, in your understanding, the mood of the Senate rather than just the reaction of the minority caucus in the upper chamber?
Well, I believe that all legislators, and in this respect the senators, are concerned about the security situation in the country, because hardly a day goes by without people being kidnapped or killed by terrorists or bandits. And this has been going on in states in the northwest. Now, with the contagion of these terrorist activities to the federal capital, it is natural for the legislators to take an action. And in this respect, I have seen the voice of the opposition there. The president of the Senate from the ruling party will be in a very difficult situation now. It's either he takes the side of the people or the side of his government and his party. And from what I've seen, the senators from the ruling party are taking the side of the government. From the press conference that was held by the minority caucus, they too have taken an action that is belated. because this impeachment processes ought to have started months ago. They shouldn't have waited until the killings come close to home. Many people thought that Abuja is an oasis in a region that is bedeviled or infested by banditry and terrorism. But now it appears that there is nowhere that is safe. So the action they have taken, I believe, is symbolic that either the president do something about this, or else they will move a motion for his impeachment. They may not be able to get the required number of people to impeach him, because it's clear that members of the ruling party in the National Assembly are hiding their faces from such an action.
So it would have to be a bipartisan effort in order for it to get through.
Yeah, the minority in the Senate don't have the numbers to impeach the president, but they are now on a moral high ground, in the sense that Nigerians will be seeing them to be truly representative and the voice of those who are suffering the situation on the ground. Yes.
But isn't it the Senate's job to sort of allocate more money to the government to fight insecurity? Because, I mean, funding is a key part of delivering the service, isn't it?
Well, Nigeria's security challenges is not about money, because from statistics,
they complain that they're underfunded all the time.
From statistics we have on the ground, there are two main agencies of government that are well funded now. One is the security agencies, and second is INEC, the body responsible for conducting elections. Not just them having the chunk of the budget, but they are also funded. The budget is funded. In the last 7 years, over 4.2 trillion was budgeted and financed for security and defense. But it's clear to us that such huge amount of money for security and defense has not translated to security. At a certain time in 2018, about $1 billion was removed from the excess crew account for the purchase of Tucano aircraft. And last year, there was about $995 million that was removed for the purchase of attack helicopters. But it is clear to us that either the funding has not been used for the purchase of the hardwares, or else we are buying the wrong hardwares for the war which we're supposed to fight. Now, what is the situation on the ground? There are different groups, from Boko Haram to ISIS to Ansaru to Dar Islam and then to bandits. The theater of the war used to be northeastern part of Nigeria. Now it's northwest and north central. And it has reached a point whereby people have lost hope on the government to protect and defend them. Anytime your wife, your brother, your sister, or any of yours is kidnapped, you simply have to seek ways of establishing contact with the kidnappers and pay ransom to get your beloved one out of captivity. And this has been happening. And ransom money is a catch-22 situation. If you don't give, you lose the life of the victim, and if you give, you help in funding the insurgency, the kidnapping, and the killings.
But it's very interesting, your analysis, very illuminating, let me put it that way. But you mentioned all these monies that had been approved by the Senate and by the National Assembly and so on. Should the Senate be focusing, rather than on the president, on the people who are charged with the responsibility of fighting insecurity, such as the service chiefs, military leaders, police commanders, and so on, who have direct charge? Because, I mean, the Senate has oversight functions, doesn't it? I mean, isn't it the job of the Senate to oversee and oversight what they're doing?
Now, you look at this from this point of view. The buck stops on the table of the commander-in-chief. If the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, was attacked by terrorists, soldiers were killed and abducted, it is the responsibility of the president to sack those who are supposed to protect and defend such
I understand that, but why isn't the Senate doing what it should do, which is to hold important hearings and carry out its oversight functions and so on?
It is part of the oversight. The Senate or the National Assembly is not just a constitutionally mandated arm of government that only allocate resources or discusses budgets, but it also performs oversight function.
Absolutely.
So it has the constitutional right to summon the president to brief the National Assembly on what he is doing and also to tell him what he needs to do.
Yeah, but it also has the power to call anyone to account.
Yes, but if you look at it, they have been doing that. And the responsibility still is with the president. If Abuja is attacked, somebody needs to be held accountable. You need to hold somebody accountable in the hierarchy of the national security.
And the person
to hold him accountable is the president.
Right.
If you need to sack service chiefs and fire security agency chiefs every 2 days until you get it right, you have to do it.
Yes.
If we should fold our arms and see this war moving closer to the center of power, it means that not just the lives of people it has stake, but the whole country as a nation, as a republic.
Right.
Its future is also at stake.
Okay, on that note, let me turn to the other big news event today in Nigeria, the Nigeria Labour Congress, bringing out its members in a nationwide protest, a second day of support for public university lecturers who've been on strike since February. And there are different levels of the strike, aren't there? There is this is a protest, but there is a warning strike, then a full action. How unusual is it for the NLC to call out its members in this way?
Well, the Academic Staff Union of Universities have been in this struggle for decades on why the government need to fund public universities to upgrade them to the 21st century. 90% of people in the position of authority today were beneficiaries and products of public education, from primary, secondary to tertiary institutions. So the question is, how do you feel as a president, as a governor, as a senator, as a minister? You benefited from these institutions, these universities. Today you are in position of power when you're supposed to allocate resources and make it better than it was during your time. Now it's worse. In a typical classroom in Nigeria's public university, you have not less than 200 to 300 students. Each time a lecturer comes in, it's as if he is speaking to a whole of people. Was that the kind of university that our leaders attended? No, it wasn't. So lecturers could have lived comfortably if they go to private university or go abroad to teach. But their protest is a struggle to save public education, to save the future of Nigeria, and to save the future of our young people who come from poor families, who can't go to private school and who can go abroad.
And those people constitute the majority.
The majority. It is insulting to see people holding position of authority attending the matriculation and graduation ceremonies of their children abroad.
I would have to agree with you.
In UK, in US, in Asia.
Absolutely.
And posting it online. In a nation
without any sense of shame.
In a nation where universities have been closed down for 6 months. So this protest is a protest that should continue, and we believe that if the government is sensitive to the yearnings of Nigerians, it should allocate resources for that. They say they don't have money. We have a budget of 16 trillion naira. And there is no reason why a government that can fund what they call subsidy with 7 trillion can't remove part of it to fund public universities.
Do you think Nigerian leaders really understand or care about the seriousness of the problem in the education sector? Because, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about declaring a state of emergency in that sector, but it never seems to happen or make any difference.
Well, whatever they want to declare, the point is that Academic Staff Union of Universities have made their demands public. They have articulated their demands to reactivate and upgrade the Nigerian university system, and all you need to do is to fund it. Whether they care or not, the point is that refusing to address those issues will come with a lot of repercussions, not only for the leaders, but for the whole country.
Right.
Nigerian political leaders are now focused on the 2023 elections. The point is that whatever is your ambition, whatever is your dreams, to be a president, a governor, a senator, you must have a country. And in a country where insurgents are all over and the university system is closed, you can predict the danger that poses to the election itself.
Well, on that rather depressing note, and but very, very interesting discussion, I want to thank you, Senator Shehu Sani, former member of the National Assembly and a prominent advocate for good governance in Nigeria. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.